back to the football down there with the match preview between Salford City and Stockport County, where of course in League 2 Stockport County have been handed a massive bit of encouragement, I suppose, by other teams in League 2, given the results that took place last night. We spoke about it in the video. We said that hopefully Tranmere can put in a similar display against us, against Mansfield Town. They did just that in terms of the result, because they beat Mansfield Town 2-1, which is a massive shock in League 2, really. Tranmere not particularly high flying in League 2. Mansfield, of course, top of the table. They're the league's top scorers as well. We knew that Mansfield were going to be strong going into that game, and luckily for us, they weren't able to get 3 points. They've dropped all 3 points, and that's handed a massive advantage to Stockport County if we go on and win our games in hand now. Obviously, Wrexham as well were held against Harrogate at the racecourse as well, which is another positive result for us, because even though they're ahead of us in the league table at the moment, them dropping points, we've got games in hand over them as well. So it's another positive for Stockport County on on that front. And then of course Grimsby beat MK Dons. We've got MK Dons coming up. I think it's a week on Saturday. Of course, MK Dons are looking to push into the playoff places as well, though, potentially automatics. So it's positive for them that they've dropped. It's positive for us that they've dropped points as well, because we want as many teams fighting for promotion, fighting for playoff spots, fighting for the automatics to be dropping points as possible. So some really positive results for us in League 2 last night, but it means nothing if Stockport County can't go on and do the job at the Peninsula tomorrow evening. So we spoke about the results obviously went in our favour last night, I think it's fair to say. Let's just have a quick look at what this means in the league table then. Of course, Mansfield Town are still top of the table on 69 points, but with 37 matches played now. Wrexham, of course, in second, again 37 matches played, on 67 points, a point ahead of Stockport County. But Stockport County have 2 games in hand over both them sides, and whilst goals difference is very much in the favour of Mansfield, we obviously have quite a comfortable distance between us and Wrexham. But if Stockport County can win their games in hand over Mansfield Town, it will see us go top of the table once again. Quite fitting, really, given it was Tranmere that, of course, beat us, which meant we lost top spot for the first time since mid-October. It's quite fitting that with them beating Mansfield, it's handed us potentially an opportunity for us to go back top of the table. Again, I reiterate, if we can win our games in hand. So obviously Stockport County are currently third in League 2, but optimistic given the results that took place last night that went in our favour. Whereas Salford City at the moment, of course, Carl Robinson has gone in January. They currently find themselves 20th in League 2. I think they'll be safe from relegation, but they'll certainly be wanting to make a point against Stockport County, given the fact that we ended their playoff promotion hopes last season, beating them at Edgley Park on penalties in that second leg and giving them no chance of getting to the final. They will want to go in and make sure that they end our party and make sure that they don't hand us any momentum in this title race. So it will be a tough game. I think they've improved as well since Carl Robinson took the reins at Salford in January. So I think it'll be a tougher game than I think people are expecting. They've got Matt Smith as well, who is one of the league's top scorers. So they do possess a threat up front, and Stockport County have been leaking goals recently, but it was a fantastic result for us on Saturday, of course, against Newport County, where we did just win 1-0, but we had that many chances in the game. We probably should have killed the game by a few more, and I think it was just one of them games, one of them days where you create, but you just can't score, and eventually we did break down Newport with that sort of extra time goal, but Stockport County will have to play better than that, I think, to get a result against Salford, because Salford are scrapping for points down at the bottom, and like I've already said, they will not want to give us any momentum in the title race, given the fact that it's a fairly local game and given the fact that we ended their promotion hopes last season. So I think they will be up for this game, because it is Stockport County. It is a team that is looking to win the title this season. As I say, whilst they haven't got much to play for them picking up points to try and stay in the league, they will not want to give momentum to Stockport County. So given all that I've just added into the conversation, what Dave Challoner said then, obviously spoke after the game against Newport County on Saturday. What did he have to say going into this game against Salford then? He said that, Thursday's a different day, a different challenge, away from home. We need to go there and do what it takes to win. He also says that we may rotate game plan, given that Salford will obviously play differently to Newport. We may have to rotate our game plan slightly. Though luckily, when he said that, because I feared at first that he might have meant that there may have been some injury updates, but luckily it looks like the players that were involved on Saturday came through relatively unscathed, and I think that most players should be available. It sounds like Powell may have a bit of a knock, so possibly he won't start. But there's no major worries, and I think that's the thing. I think he said as well at the end of that interview, the important thing for us is that we don't lose any more players in this back end of the season, this title running, because we've lost an awful lot of players this season. I think it's massively important that we focus on getting players back and not losing extra players. And I think obviously players will come back, but unfortunately not as quick as we'd like, because he was asked if any players that are currently injured may be back for the game at Salford. He said that Crowsdale's possibly Crawley, but more likely to be MK Dons. So he is probably the most likely to come back first for County, but I don't think he's got a look in for this game tomorrow night. So no new players coming in, apart from obviously the new signings that we spoke about on the channel yesterday, where Todd Kane has come in, for Stockport County on the contract till the end of the season. Of course, Ben Knight as well on loan from Manchester City. I got it wrong actually in my video yesterday. I said that he's been brought in on loan when the window's closed. What I meant to say is the deal had been agreed in the January transfer, and they just didn't announce it because he was currently injured at the time when they did the deal. I got it wrong because I actually hadn't read the article before I did the video, so I think that's why I'd got mixed up on that. So my apologies on that one. But obviously Ben Knight will be available for the game. It did say that in the statement yesterday. Whether or not he will be involved in the squad, just because he can be involved doesn't necessarily mean he will be. But I would expect him to be on the bench. I wouldn't say he'd start. I think that'd be very, very premature, especially in a game against Salford, where, given the results that we've had, it's massively important that we do win the game. But I think that we will be. I think it'll be an interesting team that we'll put out. But I'll get into that team use in a bit, and the team that I would pick going into the game, or the team that I think Challoner may pick. And it does have a surprise inclusion in that, so we will get into that later on in the video if you want to stick around. But we're going to talk about some of the stats going into this game then between the both sides. Obviously got the head-to-head record as well, which we'll delve into now. So Stockport County versus Salford City, and what's the head-to-head record like between the two sides? Well, there's been 11 games played between the two sides in professional football. Previously, we have also had a friendly game, but I've not included that in the stats because it is just a friendly game. How does it lie then? What is the fixture like between the two sides? Well, Stockport County do come out with 5 wins from 11 matches. Salford have won just 2 of the 11 meetings between the two sides. 4 draws, and Stockport County have scored 16 goals in them games, whereas Salford have scored just 10. And if we go to the last 3 meetings between the two sides, it was a 0-0 draw at Stockport County earlier in the season. We of course had a 3-1 win in the football trophy as well over Salford this season. And then of course we had that 2-1 win in that second leg playoff semi-final, where of course it levelled us 2-2 going into extra time, where Stockport County would eventually win on penalties. What a memorable day that was for Stockport County fans. So that's the last 3 meetings between the two sides, where it has largely been, well, it's been completely in Stockport County's favour. 2 wins and a draw out of them 3 results. So we're unbeaten against Salford in the last 3 meetings. And I'd expect that wouldn't change tomorrow evening, but you just never know in football. But I'd like to think Stockport County would win this kind of game, and I think we've got to, especially if we want to give ourselves a chance at getting back in top spot and fighting for that title. We're just going to go over Salford City's last 5 fixtures as well as their upcoming fixtures as well. So Salford obviously beat Barrow 5-3. They also then lost to Mansfield 5-1. Then they've got a draw with Colchester United, which is an important one for them given where the two teams are in League 2 at the moment this season. Then they were beaten 2-0 by Gillingham and then 3-1 by MK Dons. So Salford City haven't had a great record. Of course, they've lost 3 of the last 5 league games with just a win and 1 draw in that time. I do think it will be another defeat for Salford City tomorrow. I've got to be honest about that. I think that Stockport County, they've got to turn up there and they've got to play football. They've got to score some goals against a Salford side has leaked in a lot of goals this season in League 2. I mean, if we just look at the goals conceded in League 2 this season, I mean, Salford City are right up there. I mean, obviously top of that is Notts County, who conceded 70 goals in League 2 so far this season. That's a hell of a lot of goals. I mean, they've also scored 70 goals as well this season, I think. So their goals difference is ridiculous. And the position Notts County find themselves at the moment, again, is ridiculous. I think they're 17th in the table at the moment. I was a bit taken aback when I saw that. I mean, this is a side that would have been looking to be in the sort of promotion talk come the end of the season. I think they're almost as close to relegation as they are the automatic spots at the moment. So it's been a really up and down season for Notts County, and obviously I don't think they've ever quite got going since Luke Williams left for Swansea at the end of December, early January. So that's a massive shock for Notts County. For them to be in that position table and to concede 70 goals in League Two this season, I think is absolutely shocking. But then, of course, on that list as well, you've got Sutton United, who, of course, are there near the bottom of the table. I think they might actually be bottom of the table as well now. Salford City, though, with 69 goals conceded in League Two this season. Swindon as well conceded a hell of a lot of goals. And of course, in 10th is Newport County with 58, who, of course, we beat on Saturday afternoon. When you look at that, it's ridiculous that Salford have conceded that many goals this season. I think that's exactly why they are where they are in League Two this season. They've simply just shipped in far too many goals. Now we're going to look at the top goal scorers in League Two. Obviously, I said about Notts County conceding 70 goals. They've scored 70 as well. Mansfield Town, of course, top of that with 73 goals. They've put in the back of the net in League Two this season, and that is why they are top of the table at the moment. They've been so steady. I think they've got one of the best defensive records in League Two this season as well. That's been the case all season as well. So they've been really solid. And of course, top scorers in League Two with 73 goals. Stockport County with 67 goals, level with Wrexham and Crewe. And of course, MK Dons, who we face in a few weeks as well. They've got 60 goals behind them in League Two so far this season. We'll take them on in the next few weeks, as well as Morecambe, who creep in at 10th with 56 goals. We'll get to play them at Edgley Park as well this season in the title running. Then we look at League Two's top scorers as well. This is individually. Obviously, Macaulay Langstaff is top of that table for Notts County with 23 league goals this season. But Matt Smith of Salford City has also scored 23 goals this season in League Two, and he'll be a massive threat for Stockport County come tomorrow evening. And I think how we deal with him will play a massive factor in how Stockport County managed to come through the game. As I'm looking down this list, of course, Tanto Alafi on 17 goals this season. He's sort of dried up in goals, in the sort of second half of the season. I would have expected him to have scored more in the last few games, to be honest. But obviously, we haven't been in brilliant form, and hopefully we're coming out of that, and hopefully we can build on some momentum from Saturday, and hopefully Tanto Alafi can get on the score sheet a bit more, because we know his quality. We've seen it in the first part of the season. Hopefully he can end the season strong as well. Of course, as I say, looking through the list further and further down, we have Danilo Orsi, I think it is, who plays for Crawley Town. We'll face him on Monday night. He's scored 15 goals in League Two this season as well. He'll be a player to look out for on Monday. Matt Smith is the focus for Stockport County tomorrow evening, because he'll be the one looking to put the goal past Ben Hinchcliffe, and hopefully Stockport County can keep him out. With the team that I think we'll be expecting to put out, I think that we should be able to keep him quiet. I think if we can start Ethan Pye again, obviously he made his first start in some time alongside Horswell, I think we'll be pretty confident at keeping a clean sheet against Salford, who, as I say, their worry will be not conceding too many goals, because obviously they've won the league's leakiest teams in League Two this season for goals conceded, as we've already mentioned. Obviously, this fixture has a bit of a deep meaning to some of the players in the Stockport County squad as well. It's a return to the Peninsula Stadium for Ibal Toure, as well as a return to the Peninsula for January signing Odin Bailey, who of course made his loan move permanent in January, and he's only had one goal involvement since he officially made the move to Stockport County on a permanent deal, and that was the assist against Walsall, which is his first game after making the deal permanent. So he hasn't really kicked on since obviously signing for us on a permanent basis, but hopefully he'll get going over the next few weeks, and it'll be interesting to see if he starts for Stockport County tomorrow against Salford. A bit more information on Salford City as well going into this game. Salford ranked 21st in League Two for points taken when playing at home this season. That's almost half the amount of Stockport County have claimed, and only Sutton, Colchester and Forest Green have taken less points this season when they've played as the home side. Salford have 17 points on the board since Carl Robinson's arrival in January. During his 12 matches, he's had 4 wins, 5 draws and 3 defeats. Robinson has a points per match of 1.42 compared to former manager Neil Wood, who left Salford with a points per match of 1.00 from League Two this season. So obviously he's getting more points out of his Salford players than Neil Wood did this season, and I think you can see the form they're in. They're not in brilliant form, but they've certainly made a little bit more of a jump up the league since Robinson took over, and I do think they'll be safe from relegation this season, albeit I think they'll still feel a little bit fearful being relegated given the amount of money that's gone into the Salford project. But yeah, I mean, really, I think it's really surprising how bad Salford have been this season. We know that they've got a well-known ownership model. We know that they've been able to spend money over the years. I can't really understand why it's gone so wrong for them this season, but maybe if there's Salford fans watching, you can give me a bit of an idea as to why it's gone so wrong for Salford this season, and what are your thoughts on the obviously the match tomorrow. What are your thoughts? Do you think you can get a win against Stockport County? I've got to be honest, I don't give you much of a chance, but obviously you've got Matt Smith and he can score goals, and if you've got a goal scorer, that will always give you a chance in games. We're going to end with me talking about the team that I would pick, or a bit of a mixture of what I think Challoner will pick alongside what I would pick. Obviously we spoke about the fact that there's no new players set to come in from injury, no one's back fit from injury, so it looks like we're going to go with something similar to what we saw on Saturday. But he did talk about a potential change in game plan. Maybe that's a possible change in formation. I haven't changed the formation to what I predicted us to go with on Saturday, and I have obviously gone with Hinchcliffe in goal. I mean, it's not even it's not even up for debate, that is it, to be honest. Ibal Toure, I do expect will start the game at left back. I know at Bristow started against Newport on Saturday, but I think that Ibal Toure will come back in, obviously playing against his former side at a ground he'll know very well from his time at Salford. I think Ethan Pye and Horsfall will have to play alongside one another, and then I've gone for a bit of a shock option at right back with Todd Kane coming in. Whether or not he'll start, I don't know, but I thought it'd be interesting to put him in. Obviously, Case got in the EFL Team of the Week on Saturday as well, based on his performance on Saturday. But I'd be interested to see if County were able to just put in someone like Todd Kane at right back. Obviously, we know his experience in the Championship. I don't know loads about him. I think there are people pretending to know more about him than they really do. But he's Championship standard, so that has to count for something. And I think the fact that he's, Championship standard, I think that gives him a strong chance of giving us a massive advantage at the back. Obviously, we know how good Horsfall and Ethan Pye are alongside one another. If we can add him alongside at right back and hopefully steady up that position, that side of the pitch a bit more, then I think that'd be a massive boost for County, because whilst Case did get in the EFL Team of the Week this week, I do think that sides have targeted down that side of the pitch since he's come in. And I think back to Crewe, I think back to Tranmere, and they were constantly going down that side of the pitch. So I think that bringing in someone like Todd Kane at right back, I think it would make teams think twice about targeting the right-hand side, given his experience in the higher leagues. Having said that, they may then just opt for Ibal Toure and target him, who again, some people don't think is particularly great defensively. So it's all up in the air, but I would think that bringing in someone like Todd Kane, if he's as good as people are saying he is, then I think maybe a good option to bring him in ahead of Case, who I think a lot of people have been critical of since his arrival on loan from Port Vale in January. So I want to get people's thoughts on that. Again, I do understand it may be too soon, but it'd just be interesting to see if you did pick him, what standard, what level of fitness he'd be at, and how good would he be in the Stockport County side. Then I go on with Callum Camps in midfield, of course, came on for Stockport County in the second half against Newport on Saturday. I thought we looked a lot better in the second half as well. Whether or not that was much to do with Callum Camps coming into the side, I'm not so sure, but I think I'd have him in that deeper position, just steadying things up a little bit for us. Obviously in the absence of Crowsdale as well, I think it's important to have someone like that. Hopefully Camps can come in and do that role, and hopefully be interesting to see if we do start him in that position. Then I've gone with Connor Evans alongside Sarcevic, and then of course Challoner spoke about Powell maybe having a little bit of a knock after the game on Saturday, so I've gone for Odin Bailey in that position behind the two strikers, playing just ahead of the obviously Sarcevic and Evans. And then, of course, I've gone with Paddy Madden, who I think will stay in the side with that, after that match winner on Saturday, alongside Tanto Alafia. I think it's got to come in. I think that obviously him not started on Saturday, maybe we would have had more goals in the game had he started. Having said that, and I said it in the preview for the other game as well, having someone like that with that pace that he's got off the bench is also a good thing at times as well. So it'd be interesting to see how Challoner mixes things up at the top of the team. Obviously, who he goes with up front, I think will be a massive intrigue for most fans. But he did sort of reference that there may be a change in game plan. I'd be interested to see what that would be. But as I say, I want to get people's thoughts on the team that I put out. What would your team be going into this game against Salford? And what are your chances of us picking up all 3 points at the Peninsula tomorrow? Obviously, it's a massive game for us now. Obviously, been handed a massive opportunity as well at the top of the table. If we can get them 6 points from the next 2 games we've got in hand, we could well be top of the table, and that's exactly where we want to be come the end of the season. So I want to get your thoughts on Stockport County tomorrow. What do you think the score will be? I'll go with a 2-0 win for Stockport County. Let me know your score predictions in the comments below. Team news below. What are your thoughts on the team that I put out? What are your thoughts on our chances? Obviously, we got over the stats as well. I want to get all your thoughts on that, of course, in the comments below. Don't forget to like the video as well if you've enjoyed it. We are thinking of going live actually ahead of an hour ahead of kickoff tomorrow evening, just to sort of react to team news and things like that. If people would like to see that, we've also set up the stream already on the channel. So if people would be interested in seeing that, go check it out, notify yourself on it. Let me know in the comments below if you'd be interested in seeing that, because at the end of the day, if not enough people are interested in seeing it, there's no point me doing it. But I'd like to see if people are interested in me doing that potentially a bit more as well. So yeah, I'm planning on live an hour ahead of kickoff tomorrow. So if you want to see it, let me know in the comments below. As I say, let me know your thoughts as well on the game. Score prediction, I'm jabbering on. Get your thoughts in the comments on anything you want to talk about. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe if you're not already, and as always, thanks for watching.